Law of mass action statement and meaning of active mass, explanation with an example, general reactions. This is the portion that is given in the syllabus. The law of mass action can be stated as follows. This statement, in order to understand, first I'll explain what is the meaning of this statement. Consider a general reaction. A, that is, A represents the stoichiometric factor, A reactant. B is the stoichiometric factor and capital B is the reactant. Small c is the stoichiometric factor and capital C is the reactant. And giving product. This is the equation that we are going to consider. In this, small a, small b, small c represents the stoichiometric factor of the balanced equation. The concentration of A can be represented as putting a bracket like this. And since A is the stoichiometric factor, concentration of A raised to the power A represents the concentration of this factor, that is the reactant A. Similarly, concentration of B raised to the power B represents the concentration of this reactant. Concentration of capital C raised to the power C represents the concentration of this reactant C. Now law of mass action can be expressed as rate of reaction, that is, according to the law of mass action, the rate of reaction of this general equation can be represented as rate of reaction is directly proportional to concentration of A raised to the power A, concentration of B raised to the power B, concentration of C raised to the power C. Now we can understand the definition. The law of mass action can be stated as follows. At constant temperature, that's the first point. At constant temperature, the rate of a chemical reaction is directly proportional to, that is, rate of reaction is directly proportional to the product of active masses of the reacting species. This is called active masses. Active masses representation is that what? Concentration of A raised to the power A, concentration of B raised to the power B, concentration of C raised to the power C. This is the representation of active masses of the reacting species, with each active mass term raised to the power equal to the stoichiometric coefficient of that species in the chemical reaction. Now you can understand the definition of law of mass action. Now, rate of reaction can also be represented by removing this proportionality and using an equal to is equal to K constant into concentration of A raised to the power A, concentration of B raised to the power B, concentration of C raised to the power C. Concentration is represented in terms of moles per liter. This is known as law of mass action statement. Now, for gaseous substances, the concentration is represented in terms of partial pressure. This is because the partial pressure of a gas is proportional to its molar concentration at a given temperature. For an ideal gas, we know that PV is equal to nRT or P is equal to N by V RT. At constant temperature T, we already know that R is a constant. If T is a constant, P is directly proportional to N by V. That is, partial pressure is directly proportional to molar concentration, where N represents the number of moles and V represents the volume. Although law of mass action helped a lot in understanding the dependence of the reaction rate on concentration, yet its predictions sometimes differed considerably from the experimental result. The rate expression obtained on the basis of this law may not always agree with the experimental facts. For example, let us consider the same equation AA plus BB plus CC giving the product. And small a, small b, small c represents the stoichiometric factors of the balanced equation. If you conduct an experiment regarding this chemical reaction, it is found out that there is other numbers, like for example P A, Q B, R C. This type of numbers are getting in the experimental result instead of A, B and C. Therefore, it is the rate of reaction cannot be determined by the stoichiometric factors alone. That will not give you a correct value. Only the experimental result can give a correct rate of reaction. Therefore, in the experimental values that you are getting, for example P, Q, R, may be equal to A. For example, P sometimes may be equal to A. Q may be equal to B. R may be equal to C. But sometimes it may not be equal. Therefore, we have to depend on the experimental result in order to get accurate value of rate of reaction. Therefore, although the law of mass action helped a lot in understanding the dependence of reaction rate on concentration, yet its predictions sometimes differ considerably from the experimental result. The rate expression obtained on the basis of this law may not always agree with the experimental facts. For example, let us consider the following reaction. By means of this, you can clearly understand what is the law of mass action states and what is the rate law states. 2NO plus 2H2 gives N2 plus 2H2O. This is the chemical reaction. According to the law of mass action, we can write the rate of this reaction is given by rate of reaction is equal to K into concentration of NO raised to the power 2, that is the stoichiometric factor of NO, into concentration of H2 raised to the power 2, that is the stoichiometric factor of hydrogen. The experimental studies of this reaction reveal that the rate of the reaction depends upon the square of the concentration of nitric oxide only, but not upon the square of concentration of hydrogen. That means experimental factors revealed that there is no power for hydrogen. That is, therefore, on the basis of experimental facts, the true rate of expression for the same chemical reaction can be written as rate of reaction is equal to K into concentration of NO raised to the power 2 and concentration of H2. There is no power for hydrogen, that is only equal to 1. No power like 2, what is given in the stoichiometric factors in the chemical equation. Thus, the prediction of law of mass action may or may not agree with the experimental fact. Now we proved that the stoichiometric factor of H2 is not in agreement with the experimental data. In fact, the true rate expression of a reaction cannot be written just by stoichiometry of the balanced chemical equation. Therefore, the rule states that we cannot write a rate of reaction based on the balanced equation. It has to be derived on the basis of an experimental fact. Therefore, do an experiment and find out the values correctly. The information derived on the basis of the experimental facts is generally expressed in the form of rate law or rate equation. Thereby, a new law is discovered. That means, in order to find out the rate of reaction, don't depend upon the stoichiometric factors, but the values that you are getting by the experimental data. That law is known as rate law. That law gives us a clear idea and correct answer for the rate of reaction.